Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to Sam and Max Squeeze the Pulps, where we watch a cult classic movie and talk about it.
A pulp classic movie, if you will.
Yeah, it's a pulp classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. This time around, we're talking about The Phantom.
Yes, I'm Max, and this is Sam, by the way.
Yeah, I'm Sam. He's Max.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? The Phantom.
So, yeah, The Phantom.
Starring Billy Zane.
Yeah, Billy Zane.
Billy Zane. You know, I was looking at some notes on IMDb about this movie, and it mentioned that he had to shave his head in order to wear the Phantom suit. And because of that, they had to shoot all of the scenes where the Phantom didn't have his mask on first, and then go back and shoot all of the scenes with him in costume. And so the scene on the beach when he unmasks at the end was actually shot weeks apart. The shot of him as the Phantom versus having the mask off as Kit Walker.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And the other interesting thing is that after he beat out Bruce Campbell for the role, Billy Zane bulked up so much that even though they had a version of the suit that had muscles in it, he didn't need it at all.
Hey, good job.
Yeah, and it really shows.
Yeah, very good. That's cool.
He, I guess, is a fan of the comic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, dream job right there.
Yeah, you know, like, you kind of may have noticed how when he was the Phantom, he was kind of moving a little bit oddly, sort of like a light dancing around thing, and with his arms kind of held to the sides a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
And apparently that's because he read a bunch of issues of the classics and was trying to model his body movements after the way the Phantom looked in the art.
That is awesome.
Very cool, right?
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, it's hard to pull off that costume.
It really is, because it's completely ridiculous when broken down.
Yeah, it's just purple and a mask.
Now, it could have been even more ridiculous because in the original comics, Phantom's briefs are actually striped briefs.
Nice.
Yeah, and that apparently looked too ridiculous on the live action costume, so they had to tone it down to just the black for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about the intro of the movie, I think. So, there's this whole long, tense sequence where these, grave robber guys have to drive this truck across this rickety old rope bridge.
Yeah.
And it's this whole thing because they make the little kid that they've kidnapped from, the local tribe, do the driving of the truck because it's so dangerous.
Yeah, that bridge is, it's a rope bridge.
It's a terrible bridge. As shown later when it does become the source of an action scene. But what do when they get the truck to the other side of the bridge?
They leave it there.
They just leave the truck there and then do the rest of the way on foot.
Yeah, that's awesome. They tie the kid up, leave him in the back so that when they come back, he can drive the truck across the other way.
Right. Although this time, I guess it's going to be full of all of the riches and things that they've tomb robbed.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so... Yeah, speaking of the tomb, so right away that skeleton comes to life and strangles that guy to death.
Yes, it does. It's never explained.
It's never explained other than that it's must be the same magic as the skulls themselves, the whole skulls that the movies are about. I don't know if you've been able to tell by now, but unlike the other movies we watched on this show, Sam and I are both extremely familiar with this film. We watched it when we were kids, watched it tons of times.
Yeah, so we've seen this one.
Definitely a favorite for many reasons. James Remar is really good in this movie. He's as the head thug who killed Phantom's dad, played by Patrick McGoohan from The Prisoner. So this is the first time I've watched The Phantom since becoming fully aware of who Patrick McGoohan is and how cool it is that he was doing that.
Yeah, he's good. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. And just to show up to do his little bits here and there, and when Kit is like, "Oh, it's about a girl," and he's like, "Oh, finally, dear God!"
Right. It seems like once the Phantom has a kid, then his dad can stop being a ghost.
Right, because if your son doesn't have another kid to continue being the Phantom, then in a way you're like, shit, I fathered the end of the Phantoms.
And then you get to live as a ghost forever.
Yeah, I wonder how... Yeah, okay, so let's segue from that into talking about just how freaking similar the Phantom is. And I don't know if it's the same in the comics, but so we're just going by the movie here.
Yes.
But how freaking similar the Phantom is to Black Panther. It's like this protector of these indigenous peoples who the role is passed down from father to son, and the son is able to like speak to their deceased. For Black Panther, it's like all the previous Black Panthers. We don't know if it is for the Phantom, but
I forgot about that about Black Panther.
Right, exactly. Now, and the Phantom in the comics is from Africa. They changed it for the movie because that's offensive, and that's why it's all Thailand instead of Africa.
Okay.
But so it makes you wonder when Lee and Kirby were coming up with Black Panther, just how much they were pulling from Phantom, just like we were talking about with Superman and Doc Savage, you know?
Right, that's true. Yeah, that's something to think about. That's a cool thing.
Let's talk for a second about the animal cast of the film. The two animals in the film are the wolf.
The wolf,
whose name is Devil.
Devil, great name.
And Phantom's horse. His name is Hero.
Yeah, also a great name.
And
does that come up in the movie? Does he refer to the horse as Hero at any point?
He might. I didn't have it in my notes. I noticed it when I was looking at stuff online later. But I feel like he must have said it at least once. They're so careful about getting all these references into the movie.
That's true.
But so that dog and that horse like talk to each other.
Yeah.
They have a conversation like in Anchorman when Ron Burgundy's dog is talking to the bears when he's on his like incredible journey.
Yeah, but in Anchorman it's subbed.
It is subtitled, but you could see the subtitles happening as Devil and Hero were conversing. It's like, all right, Phantom's going to steal that plane, and he's going to fly in that direction, and you have to run in that direction because that plane's going to have some fuel problems. He's probably going to get shot, so you need to be running right under that plane when he gets to this field. And if you're there too late, that plane's going right into a wall. So make sure you're there on time. It's it's all cheese. Yeah, it's all cheese, but it's the good kind of cheese where it's like not really embarrassed about it.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's what happened. Move past it.
Right.
One of his powers is animal control.
Right. Control of animals, and also the animals themselves are, like, more intelligent than other
super
animals.
Training.
Right.
Like, that horse knew what that bark meant at the signal. It meant you head west towards that damn field.
You gotta get there. Let's see. What other notes do I have here? Just some little enjoyable things that I especially remember from when watching when we were kids are the scene where Drax, Xander Drax, they had to make Treat Williams. We'll get to him. But when he uses his microscope to get
microscope with the blades.
This was the first time I ever watched this movie where I understood why he was killing that guy. Like, in the past, I was just like, oh yeah, the villain, he's gonna kill a guy. Like, I don't need to know any more about this scene.
Yes, as a kid, all of the shady business dealings seemed like their own thing.
Right, you just accept it and move on. You're like, I don't get this yet.
Yeah.
But, like, it surely makes sense. It's a movie, and they made it. Like,
yeah, now he's killing people left and right.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, he is quite bloodthirsty, and it's hilarious how many people he kills and how, like, truly dangerous he is versus, like, how not scary he actually seems, because Treat Williams is, like, all the way on the other end of the cheese line from Billy Zane, where he's like, I'm a complete cartoon character.
Yes.
He might have the least threatening voice of any villain in any superhero film, or hero film, I should say.
He has the voice of a comedy relief.
Right.
And he's also playing that role as the villain.
As the villain. Man, when he dies, and he just screams out, Unbelievable! And it's like, like the highest pitched scream you can imagine. It's like Mario.
Yeah, as he's leaning forward with his skulls in his hands.
And the one thing that didn't make more sense this time versus when I was a kid was when the Phantom uses his skull ring in order to control the power of the skulls.
Yeah.
Like, it all works, like, in a movie way of, like, oh yeah, the skulls. Phantom's all skull themed. Of course, like, his skull thing would have be, like, the way to control it. But the movie doesn't even gesture in the direction of explaining any of that. He's just like, the fourth skull. And I just realized what it... Like, he didn't even know.
Yeah, it is just a sudden, like, I have the fourth skull. I had it all along.
Man,
I didn't even know.
What if the real fourth skull is in us all, and all you have to think is that the skull you have is the fourth skull and it works? So just because the Phantom was like, all right, I got this skull ring, if it's not the fourth skull, I'm fucked. So I better believe it really is and do this move where I punch towards it.
So the fourth skull is every other skull.
It is the human skull that exists in all humans across the world.
And it can be channeled through a smaller skull.
A nitpicky thing that really bothered me was when all the long shots of them driving in New York were like one-way streets. Like all the cars were parked facing the same direction on both sides, and all the cars were driving in the same direction. And then it would cut to inside of the car that they were riding in, and you would see cross traffic in the side window.
Yeah, no, you're right. That was happening.
That's honestly my biggest criticism of the film.
Yeah. That's just how it was back then.
Do you know what the Bechdel test is?
No.
The Bechdel test, which was this thing designed by this cartoonist to determine whether a movie was like appropriate as a feminist movie or not, or at least not anti-feminist, is if the movie has more than one female character, they both speak to each other at some point, and it's not about a man. Many movies, such as like Star Wars, only really has one woman in it, so it technically fails, even though it's a great movie. Like, it's a flawed test, but I bring it up
I get it.
Because it's hilarious how aggressively this movie fails it. Like Catherine Zeta-Jones, when she shows up, like her whole job is to be the jealous one for the whole movie.
It is interesting that she seems to be angry that she's not the leading female in the movie.
Like in her mind, she like sees this guy in a mask, and she's like, "Well, obviously we're destined to be together."
Yeah,
it's very
it's hilarious. I enjoy it very much.
And don't get me wrong, if I'm the Phantom, I would have picked Catherine Zeta-Jones over the other girl. Personally, Dana. But yeah, still pretty villainous until the hilariously sharp face turn at the end of just we're
suddenly on their team.
We are definitely on the same team now. Man, she can read a room way better than the mobster guy who's like, I'm gonna pull a gun on this room full of pirates.
That is true. She was really good at reading the room. She was great.
Speaking of the pirates.
The pirates, yeah.
You get through like 80 minutes of this 90-minute movie.
And then suddenly there's pirates.
Now they've been talking about these pirates, so it's not that surprising.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But then the leader of the pirates is Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Yeah.
Who calls people fool better than anyone in cinema history. Fool!
True.
It's like the way he chews on every line as he's delivering it to slap and smack and just squeeze every single thing he says out of the most venom. So entertaining.
And the thing about that for me is it's been a great movie so far, and now suddenly there's pirates as well on top of everything else that's going on.
Right, and a legit threat for Phantom to have a fight with that's going to be dangerous because Xander Drax is pretty much a pushover, and
he's not doing any karate.
Right, and James Remar's character, I mean, he only killed Phantom's dad because he stabbed him in the back. Like when they were traveling together, not even like a surprise stab in the back of somebody hunting somebody, but straight up like, I thought you were my buddy.
Yeah, the two very flawed villains.
It is interesting, but the movie leans into it so hard that you just along for the ride.
Yeah.
What else?
What else is there? That's basically the whole movie from front to back. I mean, there's 2 or 3 chase scenes in this movie, which is pretty good.
Right, we see that the Phantom can just hop into a zoo and make friends with tigers.
Oh yeah, no problem. I love that about him.
Just a friend to all nature.
Yeah, animals love him.
Crack shot.
He is a crack shot. Does he ever miss? I think he misses once or twice.
And at the end, he's raining many more bullets than there are guys upon all of the pirates and stuff as they're right. He's doing the John Woo double-handed boom, 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 boom in every direction, across the hands over each other.
Oh, yes, he was doing a lot of that. That was fun.
Is there really ever any good reason, if you're holding 2 guns and you're shooting at people coming in 2 directions, to switch your arms so that you're now using your left hand to shoot right and your right hand to shoot left.
If your arms are getting tired, it brings the guns closer towards your center, which would lessen the weight.
Okay, interesting. Plus, maybe when you're doing it at first, like all your right hand shots are hitting good, but your left hands are kind of all over the place, and then you switch.
You gotta clean up this side. And yeah, that makes sense too.
Let me just scan in through my notes here. Oh, right at the very beginning. We didn't talk about this, but this movie hits you just in the face with a water balloon of origin exposition.
Yeah.
And starting with the excellent opening phrase, "For those who came in late." Which, it's not like the story so far or anything like that. I just love how pulpy that is. It's like, all right, you came in late, we'll get you caught up to speed, and we're going. We're go.
Right. Hit the ground running.
Let's see.
This island. Was the military base on the island?
Which military base? The jungle rangers that Phantom talked to? Was friends with?
Where he picked up the girl. And they took the seaplane out to his horse. That's the same island that has the rope people and his cave on it? Or are those different islands?
It has to be the same island. It's Thailand because she was on her way there to meet with the captain of the Jungle Patrol when she was shanghaied by Catherine Zeta-Jones and the Sky Pirates.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So she was heading to his island to meet with Phantom's buddy.
Okay, and all the skulls came from that island. Well, I mean, the first skull came from that island.
First skull came from that island. Sang Brotherhood had the other one. So it's interesting. It's like the Phantom had one, the Sang Brotherhood had one, and then the museum had one.
Right, the lost one.
The lost one. The one that was being displayed like in the wrong era, wrong geographical region, everything, which I loved that.
Yeah, that's fun.
And, when he goes to steal the skull in the museum, he just breaks that shit down. Like, no alarms go off. It's the 30s. No one's going to stop us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also great.
Also, how great is it at the end when James Remar, they're all captured by the Sang Brotherhood within the Pirate's Cave, and Remar, pulls up his sleeve and shows the Brotherhood tattoo. He's like, "No, brothers, I'm one of you." And then they're like, "Oh, okay, let's not kill these guys right away." So useful, to just get that tattoo's everywhere. Anybody could have gotten that tattoo across the world. That should not be any kind of an indication to the Sang Brotherhood that somebody's actually a member.
No, that's true. Everybody knows about it.
That parchment's everywhere. Phantom's got it in his books.
Yeah, that's true. It wouldn't work very well.
But it is good advice for if you're going to hunt down a secret organization for which one of your only clues is their secret symbol, get that symbol tattooed on you because that just may save your bacon.
Yeah, exactly.
What other notes do I have here? I just noted how convenient that map was that was in the room when Xander Drax got the two skulls together and they just had that magic.
Don't know if I'd call it convenient. It was all the way up near the ceiling and way far back.
It was a 20-foot wide map that was very hard to read, probably. Yeah, they don't have an easy way to take a picture of that to take home with them, do they?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it would have been nice if there was a nice big map for him, not that little map.
One interesting note is that the comics version of the Phantom has basically no supernatural elements, and the skulls are from nowhere in the Phantom, and neither is Xander Drax. But the Sang Brotherhood and the Air Pirate ladies were from the actual stories, and there was a story where he has a duel with the man who killed his father with a knife, and to get his belt back. And so they were definitely mixing in a lot of classic Phantom stuff, and then we're just we got to also throw in some Magic Skull shit. I mean, Indiana Jones hasn't done Magic Skulls yet, right?
Right, Indiana Jones.
And they never will, because they're done making Indiana Jones movies. They only made 3. It was true then, and it's true now.
Yes, but this had a very Indiana Jones vibe at times.
Oh, it was leading heavily into it. It wanted to remind you of Indy, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
That's how you get people into the beginning. You just layer it up with that indie stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Archaeology and fedoras and whips. They're all in this movie.
Yeah, and the truck on the bridge going down while they're stuck inside.
Yeah, even the sequence was very indie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
except
Indy would have taken 6 shots to shoot the rope before successfully swinging out from a... Damn it! I got 2 left.
Yeah, more ropes breaking all the time, messing up his shot further.
Well,
But anyway,
I think that's all I had.
yeah, The Phantom.
It's a good movie.
People should watch it.
Definitely watch it. We watched it on Prime. It's on Prime right now.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah.
It's not very long. It's like 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was. It's the right length. They apparently chopped a bunch of romance story out because the director was like, no, more action. Like, let's not extend this too much.
Makes sense. You need to save room for the 3 chase scenes.
Right, exactly. That's what people who are coming to see this movie want to see.
Yeah.
All right, take us out.
Well, that's it for Sam and Max Squeeze the Pulp, where we watched The Phantom. We definitely recommend it.
High recommend.
Yeah, and depending on when this episode is actually released, we're hoping everybody is safe and healthy.
Yes. Stay sane out there.
Yes.
It's important.
Oh, yeah.
And we will do our best to make sure we're here for you at least once a week, as we have been, new comics or not.
Yeah, exactly.